Greetings, Ravens. Cleric here again. Probably another short and sweet video for you. Just kind of going over more trends you are seeing online, which is, I think is just so stinking funny. My last video was talking about the I Love Armored Core trend. It was actually getting trending on Twitter. And there's been another thing that's happened just recently in the Armored Core Twitter space. For those who may or may not be familiar, you do have Ollie Barter. Ollie Barter has been around the scene for a long time. He's been around Mecha in general, but also Armored Core. Some of you might know him better as Cacophonous or from Mecha Damashi from back in the day. But he's been an Armored Core fan, quite a few model kits. You might see his collection is crazy. You've ever seen the pictures before. Anyways, he recently released a article talking about basically the timeline of the Armored Core games, the releases, some information on them. One of the things that came out of that, though, is he had links to various things he had published about Armored Core before. One of those being his Armored Core tier list. Japanese Twitter found his tier list very interesting. If you haven't had a chance to go look that up, they discussed it in quite a bit of length, and he's actually responded back and forth a few places. And some people have taken it upon themselves from outside of the Japanese Twitter space to make their own Armored Core tier lists, and I've been seeing them everywhere for the last few days. Some are obviously what I'm just going to call trolling. Yeah, definitely trolling. In other words, it actually seemed like an honest attempt. So after all the back and forth for a few days, seeing all the tier lists popping up everywhere, I decided to do the classic YouTuber thing and make a tier list. So I had a live stream a couple days ago where I live streamed me making two tier lists. So my tier lists were what I call my personal takes, or my personal list, my personal tier list, based on my own personal feelings about the game and why. And then I made what I called a quote-unquote objective tier list, which was based on a myriad of factors and basically a more analytical take on it, and what I think what the game contributed and how the game stood alone as its own standalone game in the series. So we had two different tier lists. They look somewhat similar, but there are actually quite a few variations with the two tier lists. And I then have started a third tier list. Now this is going to be open from the time this video comes out. It'll be open for another like 5 days. Tier Maker allows for, it's called a live tier making system. So essentially what you can do is that you can go to this link and you can create or vote your own tier list on it. And what it'll do is it'll aggregate all the data together. And from there, it'll make what's called basically a conglomerated tier list. So essentially, I think last time I checked, there was like 54 people that had put their votes in so far, which is crazy. But I want to see that number hit like 500. I want like 500 respondents. I want a massive turnout through this tier list set so we can actually see what everyone actually ranks the different Armored Core games. The Armored Core games are literally all over the place as far as people's tastes go. Tastes have varied wildly on Armored Core for a very long time. Not just from 6, we're talking from 5th gen and 4th gen and on back. But my tier list is a little bit different. I actually start at B tier and go up to S+ tier because I don't have any problems with any of the games. Honestly, I have issues. That's not true. Some of the games have problems, and I explain those problems in my stream. It's only 2 hours long, actually, so if it's not too much, just throw it on the background while you're working on something. You can hear me explain my reasoning for why I vote what I vote. But I started B because I enjoy each of the Armored Core games. I like them all. I like them all for different reasons. I appreciate what they brought to the series and what they did for the games or how they were as an individual game. I appreciate all of them. Some I obviously like more than others, but I can appreciate each individual game for its own contribution. So that being said, there's a link in the description below. I want you to take this link, share it to all your fellow Armored Core fans, share it around to everyone you possibly can. I want as many people as possible to rank the games on this tier list. Now, got a couple people mentioned to me because Tier Maker is weird as far as how it does ranking. Keep in mind, the red is the S+, the top end tier, and then makes its way down from there. So make sure when you're voting, you correlate it correctly based on what it shows. Otherwise, you might end up voting for the wrong thing and not even realize it. All right, so that's all I had for you. Like I said, short, sweet, easy, no big deal. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me out. Thank you to all my new members. A lot of new members recently, mostly because of gifts and other things. You guys are crazily generous the last stream. So if you want to become a member, you can become a member as cheap as 99 cents here on YouTube. Otherwise, no big deal, no pressure. I don't care. I don't do this for money. I do it because I just love Armored Core. So I'm keeping that trend going, by the way. I'm posting all the time about how I love Armored Core, and I'm going to keep doing that for a while now. And I am looking forward to seeing where this ends up. I might do a live stream or another video, go over my reactions to what ends up being the final tally and see where the different Armored Core games land. I'm not looking at the average at all. I'm going to wait to look at the average until it's actually all said and done. So please go vote, and remember, love Armored Core.